Okay, we're back to my countdown. Today's countdown is going to be from 60 to 51, and this is my top 100 games, 2023 edition. And my number 60 game is a little card game. It's called Friday. It's a solo adventure. It is absolutely, really a lot of fun. It's very difficult to win, and by that I mean very difficult to win. But it is a lot of fun. You've got to make a lot of really hard decisions in the game. You start out kind of green level, then you go yellow, go red, and you have an aging deck, so when you burn through your basic cards, you have to add aging cards into your deck. And at the very end, if you ever make it through the green challenges, the yellow, and the red challenges, then you have to face a couple of pirates. And trust me, these pirates are absolutely brutal. They will crush you like a grape. And there's a whole bunch of them, so a whole bunch of variety here. And then you have your cards. So the cards are actually double-sided. These are your challenge cards. So say you've got a green challenge. If you defeat it by pulling 4 cards, then you will get this card into your deck. So they're kind of double-sided cards. Really, really cool. You grab 2 of these, you try to do them, and you can see all the cards have a green, yellow, and red ability on them, or challenge on them. And then you have your basic deck, which has these are the aging decks. So these are really bad cards. So when you basically run out of your cards and you have to shuffle, you add aging cards in. And then you have your basic cards, which are, they're distracted, gives you -1, and your weak is 0, and on and on. Very challenging little deck builder game. Now that's my number 60 on my list, and that is Friday. Coming in, number 59 on my list is a very, very fun little game from Victory Point Games, and that's Darkest Night. I do have the Necromancer bundle. It comes with, as you can see, all these playable characters, which is a whole bunch of expansions. Oh my god, it's going to be brutal to get this open and show you. It comes in a great big box. Yes, there is a ton of content in here. So that tells you about it. So I think there's 4 expansions that come in the Necromancer bundle, and a pile of cards. Your character sheets basically have grace, and you have secrecy, and there's, as you can see, an awful lot of them in there. These are all your little characters, and there's a whole bunch of blights that go on the board. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you the board here. I got so much stuff piled in here. Let's take a quick look at one of the characters. This is the Acolyte. And so basically the Acolytes and their Seer and the Valkyrie and all kinds of characters. If we look at the Acolyte, the cards they have are kind of like False Life. So you use your cards to go around this map, and you're trying to defeat the Necromancer, who's basically taken over the land and is messing everything over. And you're trying to find a holy artifact, which then you can use to defeat him once and for all. And yeah, so again, without tearing the entire thing apart, that's my number 59 game on my list, and that is Darkest Night. And this is the 2nd edition. Alright, now we're on to number 58 on my list, and unfortunately I don't have the game here with me because I've lent it to friends and they still have it. But I do have one of the expansion boxes, and that's just Legendary deck building game. Legendary card game. This is the Secret Wars box. Inside of here is a whole bunch of card sleeves and extra things. So this is just a storage box. But Legendary deck builder. Really like it. You got with all the expansion, there are so many expansions now. I don't even know, there's like 20 or 30 expansions. It's absolutely ridiculous. But that means variety, and you have basically every Marvel superhero character that ever existed is now in the game. So there's a whole bunch of schemes, there's a whole bunch of masterminds, and you're basically taking your group of heroes and trying to defeat whatever nefarious scheme the mastermind is cooking up to try to win. So I can't really show it to you. I did a playthrough of this on my channel. If you want to look that up, you will see more. Of course, like I said, I can't show you because I don't have the game itself here. Friends have borrowed it, and they are out of town. So there you go. That is my number 58 game on my list. Legendary deck building game. Alright, we're on to number 57 on my list, and that is Dead Panic. Now I took the lid off because holy mackerel, I just was unbelievable trying to get this lid off. I had to refilm this. Fight the dead, escape the panic, survive the night, 2 to 6 players. Alright, what do we get in the box? Well, you get all kinds of cool things. You can of course get your instruction manual and the board itself, which is basically a cabin in the woods. Big cabin in the woods. And if you've seen Castle Panic or the other ones, you basically have the wooded section, you got a clearing, you got a yard, you got a cabin. What's interesting about this one is you play actual characters in the game, and you can play one of a bunch of different characters. So you can be Sandra, the police officer, you can be a construction worker, Father Michael, Maria, Julia, David, Barbara, and Ray. So you get a whole bunch of things to do. Of course you have some walls, you got all kinds of zombies coming at you, and different tokens. You can even turn into a zombie yourself if you get beaten down enough. And the idea of the game is you're trying to escape in the truck. And so you have a whole bunch of events that happen, of course, when you're trying to go and escape. So the zombies keep coming out a la cards into different sections, and you have a whole pile of items as well that you have to try and help you out. Things like rifles and candlesticks and pipe wrenches and shotguns. And when this deck runs out, that's all you got. So the idea is you're trying to get away from all these zombies, and there's all kinds of different kinds. There's brawlers and brutes and on and on and on. Pretty fun game. Done a playthrough of this on my channel a couple of times now, I think. Alright, so we're trying to escape the cabin, get away in the truck. There are survivors that have radio pieces that you have to put together to call the truck. It's a timed thing, and you could get overwhelmed. That's my number 57 game on my list, and that is Dead Panic. And making its way to number 56 on my list is a fun little cooperative game, and it is called Horrified. The stakes have been raised. Yeah, tongue-in-cheek there. 1 to 5 players. Very cool little game. I've done this a couple times on my channel. Of course, you get a nice little rule book. Tells you how everything works. Friendly warning. You're about to unfold, blah, blah. So you got this cool little map. Of the town. And of course you got like Creature from Black Lagoon. You got the werewolf. You got Frankenstein and his bride. And you got the mummy. Got all the universal universal monsters. A bunch of bag of tokens. And it's asymmetrical, which means all the different monsters play differently. And then of course you have special abilities yourself. You can play the archaeologist, the scientist, the explorer, the courier, the professor, the mayor, and the inspector. And it's all these little tokens. Of course, you have other people that pop out on the board that the monsters are trying to eat. And just take a quick look at some of the monsters. Oh, and they have their own little, like I said, special abilities. Really cool. So you got Frankenstein, the bride. You got the mummy. You got the Invisible Man. You have Dracula. Creature from the Black Lagoon. A Wolfman. So you can increase or decrease the difficulty by playing a different number of them. And then you basically have all these cards that do cool things, tell you how the creatures move and all that. And then you have special ability cards for yourself that you can get by doing certain things in the game. Very, very fun little co-op game where you are trying to defeat the different monsters that have come out on the board before you lose. That's my number 56 game, Horrified. Alright, on we go to number 55 on my list. Games I love to play, and that is Kingsburg. And this is just the original. I do have the expansion as well. I'm going to slide all of this over. Oh, this is all the stuff that comes in here. I had to open it up because these are, what you're trying to do is get victory points. And you can see here victory points as you build the different, this came with all the expansion, I think all these extra little pieces here that you're trying to build. Of course, you have prerequisites. You have to build the inn before you can build the market, before you can build the farms, etc., etc. Going down this grid, the idea is you're rolling dice. And you are rolling dice, and if we take a look at the board, when you roll your dice, you get to add up your dice and put them on this board. There's, of course, a victory point track all the way around because the idea is to get most victory points. And say if I rolled a 5 and a 4 on my dice I roll, I can put it on here, and then I can collect either a gold and wood or a stone and wood. So you're going to need all of these resources, of course, to build the different things, and the different things are going to give you victory points. The one with the most victory points at the end of the game wins, and there's a season that happens at the end. Oh, good God. That you have to fight monsters. So with the expansion, you get different leaders. You get a whole bunch of event decks that happen. So everyone gets 3 of their colored dice, little tokens, to mark their victory points. And I wanted to show you this quickly because these are the monsters that come out at the end of every season. And you have like level 2 to 4, 3 to 5, 4 to 6. That's how many soldiers you're going to need to defeat them. And then, of course, if you look at them, so orcs are rampaging. And if you have 3, if you defeat them, you're going to get a gold. If you don't defeat them, you're going to lose a victory point and lose 2 resources of your choice. So you want to make sure you ramp up your soldiers. At the same time, you're trying to build all of your different buildings and stuff, which give you special abilities, give you victory points. The one with the most at the end of the game wins. Well, that's my number 55 game on my list, and that will be Kingsburg. On to number 54 on my list, and that would be Role Player. This is basically you're rolling dice as per the role. And I do have the expansion, the Monsters and Minions, which I really like. I really like that expansion. I don't have any other expansions, though. It gives you the play sequence, what you need to do. There is a ton of cards. Come in the deck, you're trying to do different things. There's a whole bunch of different characters that you can play, and you can be exonerated. You can be all kinds of different things. A bunch of tokens that come with the game. On and on and on. So the gist is, of course, it comes with an absolute ton of dice. Dice, and more dice. So the idea is you're trying to take your character here, and you're trying to fill in all of your entire character. And then with the Monsters and Minions expansion, you're going to fight a different monster or minion. You fight monster minions along the way, a boss monster at the end. So you're going to have a class, a backstory, and you're going to try and score the most points. There's a solo mode for this as well. I've done this on my channel a couple of times. Really, really like it. You're basically rolling dice, creating your character, and fighting, if you've got the Monsters and Minions, at the end, a boss monster. And you're trying to get as many points as you can as a solo player, and of course you're trying to get the most points if you're playing multiplayer. So that's my number 54 game on my list, and that is Role Player. Making its way to number 53 on my list is, this is very heavy, Resident Evil deck building game. This is exactly what it sounds like. It is a deck building game. I do have all the expansions for it. So yeah, there's a lot in here. And I've done a playthrough of this solo on my channel, and my sort of special solo rules. The gist of the game, well, you can see it's cards. It's all cards. It's a deck builder. And so you have different things that make up your array of cards to purchase. Like this is an action card. Resuscitate. You've got, I mean, there's all kinds. Symbol of evil. On and on. And then there are characters. Where are the characters? Because there's a lot of them with the expansions. And here we go. Here's some of the characters. So, you know, here we have Albert Wesker, Chris Redfield. They have a total number of health. They got some special abilities. And you rank up as you defeat the monsters. The idea is you have the mansion that you're going into, and you're fighting monsters as a boss monster mixed in there. Once you defeat the boss monster, you win the game. And if you don't, you lose the game. And there's all kinds of things to fight. Is this one of the monster decks? Yeah, so there's the infected, one of the boss monsters. There's all these kinds of things that you find in, and of course you have to have so much damage you do to them to get rid of them. Otherwise, they do damage, or they have health, they do damage to you if you don't defeat them. And you can find things in the mansion as well, like chain guns and rocket launchers, and it's lots of fun. So you can see I do have all the expansions, so that's an awful lot of stuff. So that's my number 53 game on my list, and that is Resident Evil, the deck builder. I apologize because it's probably very hard to find this anymore, but I do like it. Resident Evil deck building game. Number 52 on my list is a deck builder. What a shock, I know. And that is Star Realms Frontiers. This is the base box, little two-player game, but Frontiers is the one that really impresses me because when you get Frontiers, it is a standalone game. Yes, I have ANZ trackers in there for health, but you have a whole bunch of boss monsters you can fight. I think there's like 8 of them in here, so this is the Blob Assault. I just did a playthrough of this not too long ago on my channel, and yeah, it is just 100% deck builder. So there's all kinds of cards. Oh my god, if I can get some of them out of here. And so you've got like just an absolute, there's bases, there's ships you can buy, purchase in the top right hand corner. But what's really cool is playing solo, and you can even play cooperative up to 4 players against the boss monsters in Star Trek. Our Star Realms Frontiers. Yes, getting everything mixed up. Very, very cool, very fun game. Really, really like this particular, again, if you just get this, you're golden. I actually got the base game as well. This is a little 2-player, but you add this to this box and you have more than enough content for a ton of fun. You could play it competitively against each other, head-to-head, or you can play against the little AI boss monsters, which I really like. So that's my number 52 game on my list, Star Realms Frontiers. And the last game on my list for today, coming in number 51, we're halfway through my 100 countdown, and that is, of course, another deck builder. It is the Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle, a cooperative deck building game. A mouthful, but wow, this is really cool. Now, what I'm going to say about this game, I love the progression in this game. It is very cool. It's almost sort of Legacy-like in that you do have like a game 1, a game 2, a game 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and it progresses in difficulty as you go along. There's some custom dice which are really cool. You got, of course, health trackers, and then you can play the different characters. You can play Harry Potter, or you can play Ron Weasley, Hermione, and they have a basic deck of cards, you know, for that particular character, and it will actually say Neville right on the bottom. I do have the expansion as well. I think it added some more things, but I can't really remember exactly, and I'll have to put that back later because I can't find the slot. So you basically have a board which is a placeholder for all the cards and everything, and I've done the complete playthrough of this on my channel. I went right from game 1 to game 7. What I'm going to say about this game, once again, this is if you have somebody who's new to deck builders, this is a fantastic place to start because it starts off really basic, ramps up in complexity, introduces new players to deck building games, which I love. Gee, what a theme here on my channel. So that's my number 51 game on my list, and that is the Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle cooperative deck building game. Thanks for watching along, and we'll see you next time. I got another playthrough coming up soon, and then after the next playthrough, we'll be doing 50 to 41.